Hey YouTube, I just woke up about 5 minutes ago and decided I was gonna finally start on a project I've been planning for a couple weeks now. It's no big deal. I want to take my old Helix 7 graph and mount it onto the console of my my tracker. This is a 2025 tracker, 175 TXW. I thought about how I wanted to mount it. If I wanted to put a ball mount here on the section above the steering wheel, or if I wanted to mount it up here. I think I'm going to go ahead and mount it onto this faceplate. That's the way it works best for me. I don't have to buy any parts, or I have a ball mount around here somewhere, but I think I'm using it for something else. But I think I'm going to try that. I'm going to mount it up here. This is where the old fish finder was, the one that came with the boat, the hook, the Lowrance hook. It lasted, I think, 2 trips before that bracket broke. It's just a plastic bracket that holds that thing on, and it broke, and I've been using it, but it's just been sitting up here loose, which it's worked fine. But I had planned on replacing that since I bought the boat anyways. And for now, anyways, I'm going to stick my old Helix 7 on here. I think it'll work well for what I need to use it for. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to take these 2 panels off. I might drop off the panel that's underneath here if I need to, but I'm going to use the old power source for the Lowrance fish finder, and then this is the transducer wire for the Lowrance. I'm going to have to pull that out, and of course it runs all the way through here and through the back of the boat, and the transducer hangs off the back. That's probably the part I'm dreading the most. I think that's going to be the hardest part of this project, is to run my transducer through the hull of the boat, or at least this, it looks like it runs through the side, which is what I'm gambling on. Which may be pretty easy to get to until I get to this part here, because this section here is not coming off. At least not easily, not that I know of. So I'm going to try and avoid that, because this is a big section to remove. And I have a feeling I'd have to remove a whole lot of other stuff to even consider removing this. So there's this panel here. I'm not sure what it is yet. So we'll see if that helps me at all. And yeah, we'll get started. That's about where I want to mount this thing. It should fit perfect in there. I may even put some kind of brace here to keep it from bouncing up and down. So we'll see how that goes. First thing I'm going to do is take everything apart and see what I'm working with. Alright, just by taking out this panel here, I can see that where the power cable and the transducer cable come down through the inside and then into a, they're associated with a bundle of conduits which are leading other wires, presumably to the back of the boat. The power is no problem. I actually see an area that's taped with duct tape. So I'm going to assume that is the power cable, obviously, because the transducer is going to be one undisrupted cable. So what I think I'm going to have to do, since I don't have access to this, what I'm going to try is run a piece of string. It won't be string, but it'll be something like that. I'm going to connect it to this existing transducer cable. I'm going to see how easily I can pull it through the boat with that string attached. And then if that goes well, if it goes all the way through, or at least to the section in the back that I can take off, there is a about a 3-4 foot section that I can remove, I think. If I can at least pull it through that far, then we'll have a good shot at this. So it'll be a lot easier to work on the power cable if I'm not fishing through this little opening here. The first thing I should do is confirm that those are indeed the cables I am most interested in. So do that now. All right, I'm going to drop the bottom because I am not seeing where that cable goes, the power cable goes. So this is underneath the console. As you can see, it's a mess of wires. I was able to locate the power cable for the fish finder. That's not it. That's actually the main negative cable. This is the cable for the fish finder, and it runs the fuse block as expected, and it just connects right there and right there. By the way, I have the battery disconnected. It's always a good idea to do that just for safety reasons. So it should be real easy to wire in the power source for my, or the power cable, not the source. The power cable for the Helix, that'll be no issue. So I'm going to leave this be for now, and I'm going to go tackle the transducer cable and figure out how much effort I'm going to need to put into that. So see you in a second. All right, I don't think I had the camera going, but I just removed this piece that runs along the back of the boat. It was only 3 screws. It was really easy to get out, but that opens up and you can see now I've got all the cables right here. I believe that's probably my transducer cable. The issue is it goes into here, and that's tight. That's going to be tight. And here's the transducer cable, and it's tight. So this is going to be fun. All right. I can pull it through. I don't know if that big, thick plug-in is going to make it, but we are going to try. This piece of paracord, it's about long enough. This is nerve-wracking because if it gets stuck, it's going to have to come up with another plan. Okay. All right, here's, I want to make sure that's not obstructed in any way. It is not. I don't think that's going to help me. I managed to open up this hole right here. It was just 2 screws holding a plate. And I can see the cables, but there's one really thick cable, which I presume is the steering. I don't know. But I can't get in here to do anything, so it's not going to really be helpful unless things get stuck right there. I might be able to reach in and grab it, but we're going to go ahead and pull this through, see what happens. coming through pretty easy actually. Oh, there's its first bind right there. Oh, it's really tough to pull now. There, it just popped. There it popped. Oh man, that made a bad sound. Oh, it's really stuck now. Oh, got it. Look at that. It came through. Oh man, after a couple of really bad sounding pops, it came through. Now we have to see if we can pull the new transducer wire through. My heart is racing. I didn't think that was going to pull through, and I thought this was going to be lost forever. So now we got to do the same thing in reverse. If you do this, just know I did have to pull on it pretty hard. It was kind of that, what have I got to lose decision. It was either get it out of there or get it stuck or break something in the process. And it looks like, to the best of my knowledge, nothing is broken. It did eventually pop through pretty easy. I don't even know where the other transducer is, so bear with me a second. All right, here's the transducer for the Helix. The cable, of course, and the good news, or it's not really good news. This is the connector for the Lowrance. This is the connector for the Helix. They're approximately the same size, so at least it's not any bigger. Okay. So once again, I'm going to connect these together. This is just electrician's tape. All right, let's do this. So I'm going to be pulling from here, feeding it through here. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous about this. I get one shot. Okay, oddly enough, I'm able to feed this in quite far, but my cord up here is stuck on something. Oh my God. I don't know what's happening. It's making a lot of sounds. I'm pulling it through. It seems to be kind of stuck up here, so I'm pulling it. It's moving. It's moving. Look at that. I got it. The hardest part of the job is done. I can't believe it worked. I thought for sure it was going to get stuck somewhere in here. I am very happy. That's the hard part. The rest is pretty much cake from here. All right, we have a lot of tedious work now. A lot of connections to make. We got to redo the power wire. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. Hold on. I did not run the transducer cable behind this plate. And the transducer, I don't think, it's not going to fit through there, but there are 2 screws holding this down, so I'm pretty sure I can take this panel out. Otherwise, I'm going to have to run the cord back through that section, which I'm not looking forward to do. So I'm pretty sure this panel comes off. There's one screw right there. There's the other screw right there. All right, disaster avoided. All right, I ended up having to rerun the transducer cable back through again anyways. While I was able to, get past that part of it, I can't get past the part where the those two mounts are welded to the transom. And you can see the cable runs underneath them right there. So short-sightedness on my part, no biggie. The cable actually fed back through really super easy. So I expect it to do the same on its hopefully, final return trip. So I'm gonna go thread this through the back real quick and we'll start over. All right, we're done there. All right, transducer cable. Okay, now to hunt up the power cable for the Helix. Let me go find that. Okay, this is it. We've got some dissecting to do. So I just realized that because of where these sit on the fuse block, the negatives over here and the positives over here, I just disconnected it to make sure the screw fit through the connectors that I'm using. But I need to strip off much more of this plastic covering. This is what I've got so far. So I need to strip off a good 6 inches or so. All right, that should be long enough. All right, we have our connectors for our power cable. Looks like it's going to be easier to feed it down inside, so we'll see. There's a million things that can get hung up on. I'm going to try and steer it, both cables at once, into the same area. All right, all I got to do is I do it from here. All right, this is my mount. It's a little dirty. And I found this screw that will fit right through there. I'm going to follow it up with a giant washer and then put a lock nut behind that. And that'll hold the mount up to my panel. All right, there's the mount mounted. Yeah, it's ugly, but it's strong, and you're not going to see it anyways. I didn't have a nut for this one. I thought I did, but it ended up being the wrong size. So I had to come up with another nut and screw. It's not the same, but that just adds character to the boat. But this thing is on there. That thing is not going anywhere. I'm going to button everything back up and we'll mount the graph, and then all we have left to do is to run the transducer cable, attach the transducer, and then we're done. All right, there it is with the graph mounted. That part's all done. I haven't powered it on yet. I still haven't hooked up the battery, but it's looking good. Very sturdy too. It's very solid. All right, let's go finish up the transducer. There it is, working in simulation mode. So we know we got power. All right, transducer is installed. Wait a second, am I done? I'm done. I didn't realize it. That was the last thing I needed to do. The new fish finder is installed completely. There it is. Everything's all buttoned back up. Transducer's in. That was it. Pretty easy. The toughest part was pulling the transducer cable through. My recommendation, if you do this, is to work from the transponder forward so you don't miss anything. But no biggie, once I pulled it out a couple times, it went in and out really easy. So that was the part I was dreading, and that was the part that turned out to be not so bad. So important part is the fish finder is installed. Man, I wish I saw that on my screen every time I went out. All right, as always, thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful for those who are considering taking on a project like this. If you have any questions or comments or anything, leave them in the comment section. All right, peace out.